Good morning. What a great day in the new ninth. If you have any doubts, this is what the new ninth is about: making good things happen, collaborating, meeting the needs, and proving that we can work together, that working together works. We're so proud that you joined us here at our Bringing Hope to Hope Street Bridge grand opening. And we just want to start this program off on a very positive note with a blessing from one of our faith-based leaders in our community, Pastor Javier from RTLA, and he's joined by his lovely wife, Pastor Cynthia. Thank you both for your leadership. Pastor, why don't you come up and get us started.
Good morning. Today is a good day in South Los Angeles, isn't it? Yes. Welcome to Bringing Hope to Hope Street. Today we celebrate the grand opening of our 11th Bridge Home and the first in the new 9th district to open part of a city homeless shelter program. So we are excited. We know that it's a problem, but we are addressing the problem, and we're doing it in a very rapid way with the collective effort of everyone here involved. My name is Javier Buena, and I'm the senior pastor of RTLA Church here in the new 9th. We've been here for the past 16 years. Bringing Hope to Hope Street will temporarily house 100 homeless men and women from the community and help them transition into permanent supportive housing. This is something to cheer about in our city, especially in the new 9th. I want to share a verse from the Bible that has always impacted our hearts and the reason why we're so heavily involved in our community. And it's from Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 11, and it says, "There are always going to be poor and needy people among you. So I command you, always be generous. Open purse and hands, give to your neighbor in trouble, your poor and hurting neighbors." We hear the persistent call to find shelter for the homeless, but we are witnessing a new day, a better day, and I am blessed to know that my city, the city of Los Angeles, and my wonderful District 9 has answered the call for justice, so that no man need ever lay down for the night on the sidewalk because he has no home, so that no woman never ever tuck her children into the back seat of her car because she has no home, so that no child never ever wonder, where will I feel safe, because he has no home, so that all those who are in need find the shelter and the peace that they all seek. In the words of my councilman, Curren, this is a monumental day for District 9 community. Bringing Hope to Hope Street is not a shelter, but rather a reminder that we must never lose hope. Here in our formerly homeless neighbors will find refuge, comfort, and healing. But most importantly, they'll be on the path to stability, independency, and a new life. We know that this may only be one chapter in their lives, but this is not the end of their story. So we want to be able to pray this morning and dedicate this place to give hope, bring stability, and to bring independence in the life of people. Can you please bow your heads and close your eyes and let us pray? Oh Lord, we continue to give us the compassion and knowledge to keep helping others in the search for shelter. Help all the staff at this Bridge Home to be a compassionate presence to those who enter this place. As Mother Teresa said, each time people come into contact with us, they must become different and better people because of having met us. Oh Lord, we bring them safely to this Bridge Home, that we may welcome them and serve them, so they may renew their strength, and with your help find hope for the future. Remind us, oh God, that we cannot rest fully secure in our homes each night until all your children are at last home. We make this prayer to you. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Javier, and Pastor Cynthia. Appreciate your spiritual leadership in our community, and other members of the faith-based community that are with us this morning. Again, we appreciate your service, we appreciate your commitment, and we appreciate your presence. Well, as I said before, this is a real monumental day in CD9, and it's it's more than a catchphrase. Bringing hope to Hope Street. Hope to Hope Street. You know. And again, not just a temporary bridge housing site, but a reminder that we can never lose hope. That's got to be a part of what we're doing. Well, we couldn't have crossed this finish line without the collaboration, the unique collaboration between the city and the county. What a concept. What a concept. But we've been working seamless together, Mr. Mayor, Madam Supervisor, and I'm pleased and proud to be a part of the congratulations. But we know that in addition to our city and county partners, we have providers, we have nonprofit organizations, we have support from the community at large. And so we thank all of you for the unique role that you play. We certainly would not be here without the leadership and the commitment of our mayor. We appreciate his leadership and his courage in stepping up on this issue and really helping to define it as an issue that we have to address in our time, in our own unique way. In addition, I want to recognize Supervisor Hilda Solis, again, for her unwavering commitment to working with our communities to bring homeless people off the streets and into housing. And, we're honored to have the supervisor represent this portion of CD9. And again, she and her staff and the county family have just been extraordinary partners. I certainly want to just acknowledge, again, the city family mayor, as you know, who've stepped up to the plate in a variety of ways. But let me just acknowledge Gary Lee Moore, General Manager of the Bureau of Engineering, for the unique role. Tony Royster, General Manager of the General Services Department, and his crew built these facilities. One designed and the other built it, but it was in that unique collaboration, and we really appreciate that. Also, our partners at LASA, Hopix, Volunteers of America, St. John's Well Center. Let's give them all a round of applause. We must continue to work in unison if we're going to help solve this crisis, the crisis of our generation. That's why I recently launched the Homeless Response Team out of CD9. You can see some of the teammates in their jackets. Teammates, throw your hands up in the air. Yeah. Wear those jackets proudly. That's why, and you can't do it alone. And so I was pleased to form a CD9 Homeless Advisory Committee. Again, made up of faith-based organizations, service providers, leaders from across the district who provide not only ideas, suggestions, but provide a good sounding board for what we're doing and what we need to be doing. So if any members of our advisory committee are here, would you just stand and just be acknowledged? That's right, Rose, stand up. Pastor, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Again, I'm thrilled to bring this coalition together this morning as we celebrate the completion of this much anticipated shelter in District 9. This temporary structure is going to house 100 of our most vulnerable constituents, bringing them indoors, helping them to transition into permanent supportive housing. This is not the end all, this is just a step. But it's an important step, getting people off the corners, off the streets, out of their cars. In this facility, individuals are going to have access to case managers, health care, substance abuse treatment, job training, life skills, haircuts. They can wash their clothes, you name it. We want it to be home. Residents will have a storage space, laundry facilities, restrooms, showers, and round-the-clock security. The shelter is going to be occupied by people within this area. We made a special effort working with our service providers to making sure we were touching base with the folks, right around the street, right down the corner, who have been in need. We know that behind every human struggling with conditions of homelessness, there's a story. They didn't just arrive there. A person who had their heart broken, someone who suffered an unthinkable tragedy. an individual who faced some kind of social injustice. Last week, I broke bread with a few of the residents who will be moving in here because I wanted to get closer to them and understand some of their issues. Individuals from CD9 who are going to be coming here include a 23-year-old young man, Lloyd, who told me he'd been homeless since he was 16 years old. 16 years old. Currently, he's a student taking plumbing courses at LA Trade Tech, and we certainly want to encourage him. I also met Johnny, a 67-year-old who's been living on the streets for more than 20 years. He loves his 2 dogs, and because this is a pet-friendly shelter, he's going to be able to move into Hope Street with both of his pets. I spoke to Lenice, 35-year-old woman who was elated to move into temporary housing while she waits to get approved for Section 8. And so, again, the burden was obviously heavy on their shoulders. And it's going to take time. It's going to take some patience. It's going to take a lot of love. But we are determined to help them feel whole again. They're looking forward to putting their past behind them and receiving the services that they need to get back on their feet. Well, one thing is for certain, they found hope on Hope Street. Here, our neighbors are going to find refuge, comfort, and healing. They'll be on the path to stability, independence, and a new life. We know that this may only be one chapter in their lives, but it's not the end of the story. It's not the end of the story. So I'd like to extend my warmest congratulations to all who have had a hand in bringing Hope to Hope Street alive, namely the hundreds of construction workers who put in thousands of hours to open this site. This project is special to me because it's the first one in my district. I'm proud to say, Mayor, though, that we have 2 additional bridge home sites being planned. One on 46th and Figueroa that's going to be dedicated to families. And another on 52nd and Fig that will include as many as 100 shelter beds on the ground floor with permanent supportive housing above. Again, a creative, adaptive reuse. This project is slated to open in 2021, next year. With the addition of these facilities, individuals and families will no longer have to worry about finding a roof over their heads. Homelessness is certainly my top priority. There's no reason why in the greatest city in the world we should see people struggling just to get their basic needs met. Nor should our children and families have to suffer those ramifications, and our community at large. Simply walking home from school or going to play should be a simple task. No one is immune from problems associated with homelessness on our streets. I'm committed to ensuring that all my constituents have a safe and dignified place to live. To date, we have nearly 1,500 affordable units in the pipeline, and this includes 640 units dedicated to housing our homeless. But we also have to catch Angelinos before they fall, which is why I introduced LA's Homelessness Prevention Program, the program called Solid Ground by our mayor. It's going to provide financial assistance for families to pay for things like rent, utility bills, a pharmacy bill, before they fall into homelessness. Don't you think that's important? Yeah. Well, again, with the support of the mayor and our council, we're going to make sure that there are more resources to make that happen. We understand the magnitude of this humanitarian crisis, and we need to examine every possible solution. It's not going to be solved overnight. It's going to take the collective efforts of all of us to create that shift. But make no mistake, that shift is coming. So it's now my pleasure to introduce some amazing partners who have made today a reality. First up is our mayor, the Honorable Eric Garcetti. The mayor, just hold on, Mayor. Not so fast. Not so fast. I'm gonna read it like we wrote it. But in all seriousness, in 2018, the mayor challenged each district to create these kinds of bridge facilities as an interim step, getting our folks off the streets. And so I'm proud with his leadership, with his visionary involvement, the Bridge Home program was born, and today we are opening the 12th shelter in Los Angeles. Thank you, Mayor. In addition to bringing hope to Hope Street, that brings a total of about 800 shelter beds that are being provided. The mayor is also responsible for increasing the homelessness budget 25 times that it was 4 years ago. I don't know what that number was, but 25 is 25. Yeah. And he continues to fight for and successfully secure additional state and federal funding, because we need it from both. It's going to allow us to further help the homeless population. Again, our hero, our leader, our mayor, Honorable Eric Garcetti.
Let's give it up for our champion here, Curren Price, the team from CD9. None of this is possible if somebody doesn't step up and say yes, yes, yes. And all of you who have said yes, yes, yes. The community that is here. And this was born out of a conversation when I sat down with our amazing supervisor and my dear friend Hilda Solis, and she's like, I got this county property that just might work. And it literally was her generosity and her vision that got us to a place where we could begin planning it. So thank you, Hilda, as well, for your extraordinary, extraordinary leadership. Good morning, Los Angeles. How y'all feeling? It's been a busy week here in California, huh? Elections, the craziness with coronavirus, and yet we continue marching on. We continue marching on. And I want you to really savor this moment, because it's not often that we get to breathe hope back into a world that sometimes feels hopeless and divided. A place where folks are saying how we can exclude each other instead of include each other, where we're trained to say what we're against before we articulate what we're for. But just look around, because all that's BS. This is the reality of our city, a city of belonging, of government that works together across all our jurisdictional lines, of bureaucrats, and I say that with a big capital B and stars and stripes around it. Our bureaucrats are the best in the business, and folks who figure out a way to say yes. The men and women who said, I will build this as quickly as possible because I'm mission driven and I want to get tents off the street and people into homes. And the nonprofits who know how to solve homelessness. Everybody always comes up saying, what we're doing is not working. We need a better answer. We actually have the answer. We've just never funded it. We've just never done it on scale. We've never brought the coalitions together, and we finally are. So this is a great, great day. 3 weeks ago, we had 3 shelters fewer. I think some 354 beds fewer, and we broke ground on 3 ones that are coming in that same 3-week period. That's 6 different shelters, the first navigation center in the city, and also went up to the state to listen to our governor give his state of the state only on homelessness, put a record $750 million in the budget, which we thank him for, and we're going to try to make it $2 billion. I'm going to get to the to-do list in a minute for all of you. We're talking to the federal government. We've de-weaponized this. Some people still weaponize it, but we're de-weaponizing it. Had a great conversation yesterday with our HUD secretary who wants to help. And we're not going to reject help from anybody, no matter what, as long as they listen to what works. We have things that give me so much hope. So I've been saying this is a year of hope. To actually come to Hope on Hope Street in a year of hope brings it all together. I want to give you 3 sets of numbers. First one, 150 and 133. Heidi Marston, who's here, who's our acting executive director and chief program officer of the Homeless Services Authority, gives us not only a homeless count each year, but tells us how well we're doing housing people. A few years ago, we were housing half as many people a day, and today it's 133 Angelenos coming off the streets, thanks to the amazing organizations, outreach workers from LASA, who I appreciate so deeply, the nonprofits who are engaged, and those who make the pipeline from the street to a bed as smooth as possible. But 150 is how many of our brothers and sisters are becoming homeless each day. 150, 133. That's why the numbers went up. Those numbers are about over a year old. We'll get some new ones soon, and hopefully they'll be even better. But that's not a big gap. Every day you feel hopeless about this situation, and it's tough not to some days when we see our neighborhoods encamped and we see so many souls lost on our streets. All we have to do is prevent 18 people more from becoming homeless or house 18 more, and we're now on the path to reducing our homeless population. That's not tough. To increase by another 10% what we're doing, and I have to believe the opening of this facility will help contribute greatly to that. That you heard the numbers, we now have over 800 beds open that didn't exist 18 months ago in now 12 different facilities. But get this, by July 1st, that number will be 25, 26. 26! 26 will be open. More than double today by July 1st, over 2,000 beds worth of Bridge Home facilities. The county is often our partner in paying for the services that are here, because we don't just want beds. We want people to land here and get out of here as quickly as possible to a permanent home. And to Volunteers of America, which does such an extraordinary job, we thank you for being a part of this. And to Jim, who has embodied social justice and health justice and so many things, St. John's, we love you both, and we want the culture of this place to be, when you wake up in the morning, what's your housing plan, permanent housing plan? At lunchtime, over lunch, how are we going to get you into housing? Before you go to sleep, what did we do today about housing? And we're going to continue to be faster and better, from LASA and all of us, to making sure that that time period is as quick as possible, because this is a welcoming place. You can bring your pets, you can bring your partners, you can bring your possessions, all those things that kept people out of shelter. The county and the city now have a model that works. But this isn't your new home. This is a place to stabilize, to feel like a human being, to clean up, to get your clean clothes, your clean body, your clean mind, to figure out where you're going to go. And then we want to know what your dreams are. 20 years on the streets of Los Angeles, that story you told, 20 years on the streets of Los Angeles. This didn't happen overnight, my friends. But overnight it can change for somebody. And when this goes from being a boogeyman, when sometimes there is no problem here, and I thank this community for embracing this. But you saw that town hall 16 months ago in Venice with Councilmember Mike Bonner and I. It was a pretty friendly thing. I mean, there was the chief of police there with his badge and gun, and they were still saying F you to him out loud. I was like, dang, he's got a gun. But 16 months later, just last week, we opened that place in Venice. 154 beds. And what changes it for everybody, and there wasn't a single protester there, by the way, because I do believe people realize when they open, oh, I thought that was something else. Oh, it's serving people who are already here. Oh, now I have a face and a name and a story. Like when we did the groundbreakings 2 weeks ago in San Pedro and Wilmington, somebody from Joe Buscaino's district in one of our bridge homes, one that's on Century Boulevard, came, and he was living on the streets, no teeth, a heart condition, living off of potato chips. He'd been out there for years. He came in, had a heart attack, died on the operating table. They saved his life. He said he had a zipper on his chest now. He had a full set of teeth. He was eating square meals. When he went to get his benefits, he learned what his real name was, which he had never known. Think about that, to not even know your name. And he said, whoever thought this up, and I didn't think it up, we all thought this up, he said deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, because his life was so transformed. That's what this is about, not just 100 people. There's going to be another 100 people, and another 100 people, and another 100 people, and another 100 people, until homelessness is a thing of the past. So that's my whole speech. I want to thank Nick Patsouris as well, who's this Greek general who we bring in to help our field marshals here get things done. Give him a round of applause, because he's making sure these get done fast and right. Who's the builder? I always want to make sure. I don't know if I have that in my notes. Oh, GSD did the whole thing. Thank you, GSD. This was done with all city construction. Give them a round of applause and thank them for all that they do. I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. He always makes sure. When we do the groundbreakings especially, we tell the contractor, and this will be done in 5 months, or 4 months, he corrects me usually. We're getting these done, by the way, from groundbreaking to opening in 4 months' time, so don't tell me we're not doing these quick either. And finally, let me just end with this, and I'll say a couple very, very brief words. Is there Spanish here? Sí, okay. Well, let me say that real quick. Estamos aquí, gracias al concejal Curren Price y en el Distrito 9 y la supervisora Hilda Solís, porque este equipo es el equipo de sueños, the Dream Team. Juntos, el Condado de Los Ángeles y la Ciudad de Los Ángeles están construyendo 26 de estos refugios. Este es el 12º refugio nuevo en la Ciudad de Los Ángeles. 2,000 nuevas camas para traer la gente en nuestras calles, nuestros automóviles, a un lugar donde ellos pueden cambiar su destinidad. I always loved in English, there was an outreach worker I learned this from who goes out on the street and he says to somebody who's having a tough day, he says, "This is not your destiny. This is not your destiny." Y con estos refugios tienen la oportunidad a cambiar no solamente las vidas de nuestros hermanos y hermanas en las calles de Los Ángeles, pero tenemos la oportunidad a cambiar nuestras vidas, de toda la gente en Los Ángeles, con dignidad, con salud, con vivienda permanente. Y espero que nosotros podamos luchar por más y más y más de estos. So here's the 3 things that I want to end with. 1, call the governor and call your member of the State Assembly and Senate and say, awesome, thank you so much for the start of $750 million. We're going for $2 billion, and we're going to do a press conference about this tomorrow. $2 billion we want. We need, if there's a rainy day fund, it's pouring on the streets of California. And this is a time when we need to use those funds to bring people home. Second, call your member of Congress, call this administration, yes, even from LA, they sometimes take our calls, and say, we want to get that HUD help and pass 2 pieces of legislation, one from Maxine Waters and Kamala Harris, that would provide also federal emergency aid for housing, and one from Ted Lieu and Senator Feinstein. I mean, it could be any 4 representatives around the country, all 4 from California, that's for the health that we need to get people's mental health, substance abuse, health care off the streets, and get both of those passed and signed by our president. And then third, show up the next time you hear about anybody proposing affordable housing in your neighborhood. Look for new property, because we're not done yet. 26 is not the destination. And I don't know how we're going to pay for it. But I know that I'm going to keep spending money, because a crisis demands that we step up and make this the #1 priority. We've increased it 25-fold, but we are still going to keep on going. But we need you to be that voice of the community, because sometimes the loudest voices are the ones that are the most fearful ones, and we don't hear from the ones that are most hopeful. So thank you, April Brody, from my staff. Thank you, who's leading all this work as well, Christina Miller, our deputy mayor. And with that, let's cut that ribbon. Ladies and gentlemen, Curren Price.
Thank you, Mayor, again, for your singular leadership. At a time when you appear to be out in the wilderness, I think everyone is recognizing and realizing that we have a lot of work to do, and we got to do it together. Let me just say, you know, in our city, angels come in all sizes, all shapes, all colors, don't they? And they aren't all men. Oh, get it? That's all right. Anyway, it's my pleasure to introduce a real angel in our community, and she's been an angel on the Board of Supervisors and in this project. She represents the 1st Supervisorial District, the Honorable Hilda Solís. Let me just make a couple quick points. The land behind me previously served as a parking lot for the Claude Hudson Comprehensive Health Care Center. And when we identified it as a potential location, the supervisor was quick to say, let's make this happen. Let's cut down the red tape. Let's improve the collaboration, cooperation. And so we're pleased that she has been a real leading champion, not just in the county, but especially in our supervisorial district and in our city. We're honored to have Supervisor Hilda Solís.
Yeah. That's so nice. Thank you, Councilman Curren Price, and to our mayor, Eric Garcetti, and also to all of you, the stakeholders. I want to thank all of you, and I also want to thank our CEO for LA County, Bert Kamagawa, who's here. He represents one of our finest. Bert, where are you? Can you stand or wave? He's back here. I want to give him a big shout out because I can't do this alone. If you talk about angels, I got some angels too. And I have my staff here. If they can also wave. We've got them here. They're my team that have been helping me work on this for the past 3 years. And I want to also thank our Public Works Building and Safety because they also help to expedite the permits, which is good. We work hand in hand with the city. I really want to give a big shout out to the city staff and everyone that's been working on this, and especially to the stakeholders, the CBOs that are here, the Wellness, St. John Wellness, as well as the Volunteers of America. They are longtime friends of mine and of the county and the city, and they are the true angels. So let's give them all a big round of applause. You know, for me, it was a no-brainer. When I heard that we could start using parking lots and space that we had, assets that the county had, I immediately thought, here's this acreage that we have. We want to repurpose this area eventually, and we will. But meanwhile, why can't we use that parking space here, this couple of acres that won't just be a parking spot, but help to people park for a short time in their life while they get their life back together? Why not? And if we could do it in 3 years with the help of the city and the county and our stakeholders, why not? And I say that every one of us, public elected officials, should be looking throughout not just the 1st District, but every part of the county and the city to see where we could do the same thing. This model works. If you agree, say yes, this model works. And this is hope. Hope has arrived here on Hope Street. In Espanol, la esperanza ha llegado. That means hope has come here today. And it will remain here for 3 years. And I'm excited that we've been able to utilize our funding from the county to help provide what's going to amount to, I believe, briefly, possibly about $6 million in the course of 3 years to provide the case management, the mental health, the health services, the meals, all the things that our two providers are going to be providing. That says a lot. And when people say, no, we don't want them in our backyard, guess what? We're here to say no. We are here to protect our brothers and sisters. And I am so righteous about this because I believe that we should give those that live in the immediate area the opportunity to be able to have this roof over their head, some dignity, some respect, a place to put their head at night, to be respite, to converse with other people, to have the case management, to have the meals, the hot meals, the hot showers, and everything that goes with giving and restoring dignity and respect to people who deserve it, who've been out on the street. I know, maybe 10, maybe 20 years. I too have confronted and seen many people throughout my district, and my district goes all the way out to Claremont and Pomona. And guess what? We have a similar shelter just like this in the city of Pomona. Every city should have a shelter to start out with, transitional, but then we move to the next step, and that is housing. Permanent housing, and we can do it. But we need everybody, the faith-based organizations, we need the private sector, we need public sector. Yes, we need money from Sacramento, $2 billion. Governor Gavin Newsom, please hear us. We need your help now, right? Governor Newsom, we need your help now. We need it now, not yesterday. And we also need to call on our federal partners as well. And I know that the mayor's been working very closely with Secretary Carson on that. I hope that he will heed the word that we're here to do the right thing. We have many, many things that we want to be doing. This is just one of many collaborative partnerships that we're going to be working with the city on, and I'm very excited. The next area I want to go to is focus on Vignes Street. We got some property there. I want to see the same kind of love and attention that we can provide there and continue to do it wherever people are open and we can find a place and space to do it. So with that, I want to say thank you for having me here. I want to thank Curren Price. It's been wonderful to work with your staff and the city because it does take a village. In fact, in our lives, sometimes it does take a village. I do have a certificate that a scroll that I'd like to present. And I want to present this to the team, to the city, and to the providers, okay? A bridge home, signed by all 5 supervisors representing 10 million people. This is the direction we need to go. So, Mayor, all of us, thank you so much. Thank you.
And give Jessica Calosa, our Public Works Commissioner, who's here, a round of applause, too. Thank you for being here, Jessica.
I tell you, we are really just blessed to have the supervisor's leadership, and, you know, unique. You know, I told you she is an angel, but she also knows how to give you the devil if you're not doing the right thing. And so, you know, we're honored to have a community-based organization like Volunteers of America. They have just been on the front line for a long time, all over our city, especially in areas of need and communities of need. And so we are proud to partner with Volunteers of America on a number of sites around the city. They have provided effective leadership and operations for those in the greatest of need. But let me invite Tara Sims up to say a few words. She's going to be the program manager here. She's going to be overseeing the day-to-day operations at Bringing Hope to Hope Street. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, this is where the buck stops, and you can see Tara. But she's going to have a dedicated army of case workers connecting residents to services, and we're excited to hear about all the exciting, life-changing services and opportunities that are going to be created right here on Hope Street. So, Tara?
I wish I were this tall. Okay. All right, how are we going to do tonight? What are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. I'm going to just do a little personal story. When I first moved to Los Angeles, I was getting to know the city, and I thought I knew my way around, and when I did get lost, there was always individuals, sadly, that were living on the street that would tell me, you're going the wrong way. You need to go 2 blocks this way. You might as well just get back in the car and go this way. Just jump on the public transit. They were always helpful. They were always there, but they were still there. So when Volunteers of America gave me and my team an opportunity to then help give them direction and guidance to find permanent supportive housing, we jumped at it. And with the help and support of Councilman Price, with our mayor, with LASA and their wonderful outreach team, we have put together this amazing facility with an amazing team and a community that has actually embraced us. And we're very thankful for what we have and what we want to give to the community as well as to our participants. I'm keeping it short because I'm now a public speaker.
All right.
It's hot. But I want to thank our team that worked day and night to get this ready. Some of you got some tours from them. Hopefully you give us a 5-star rating for our tours. Yeah. I want to thank LASA Outreach team. You guys have been amazing. I don't know where you're at. Raise your hands. Where are you guys at? Hey! We'll be seeing you very soon. I want to thank the mayor's team, April. Thank you so much. And again, we thank you for your support. We continue to take in your support. The community, you're wonderful. Thank you very much. And we're ready to get started next week. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Let me just acknowledge another angel from the Volunteers of America. Orlando Ward is in the house. And I met our president. Is he still here? He had to cut out? Okay. Yeah, we appreciate Volunteers of America and the collaboration and the cooperation. Speaking of cooperation, another indispensable partner. Let me tell you, gang, we brought the A-team. I don't know if you noticed, but this is the A-team. right? This isn't just some haphazard effort, Mayor. Where's the supervisor leave? Supervisor, this is not just some haphazard effort. We wanted to bring the best folks here who have history, training, experience in doing the right thing and providing services in a creative and a sensitive way. And so we're happy to have as a partner in the project not only Volunteers of America, but St. John's Well, Child, and Family Center. And so they have been doing an extraordinary job all over our city, but especially in our community, in communities of need, providing just a variety of important health care services on corners, in properties, and on school campuses. They have just continued to provide some extraordinary leadership. So let me ask Jim Manja to come on up. Under his leadership, St. John provides health care services to nearly 10,000 homeless patients throughout South LA. 10,000. Among St. John's programs are 2 dedicated mobile clinics, one of which you see right here, that provide care at shelters and other outreach locations. Again, several ongoing conversations with Jim. No question about his commitment, no question about his willingness, no question about his ability to make good things happen. And so we're pleased that you're a part of this project, Jim. Yeah. Jim Manja.
Thank you. It's pretty hot up here, so I was wishing I brought my bathing suit. But it's really an honor to be here. It's an honor to work with Councilman Curren Price, who's so committed to this issue and committed to this district. And when he talks about the new 9th, we're seeing a transformation that's about serving the people in the 9th District. And I want to thank him for including us in this project, and we're honored to work with him. Supervisor Hilda Solis, what can you say? The fact, I'm not surprised that she gave this property. I'm not surprised that she's here, because she's always been, from the days when we first met in the 90s, when we were fighting a rogue group of ICE agents who were coming into our communities and intimidating immigrants. I was in Supervisor Solis's office when she got Hutchinson on the phone, who was the head of ICE at the time, and berated him and pulled that rogue team back from coming and intimidating our communities. Do you remember that? That's right.
I told you.
And I remember I don't even know if it was a year and a half to 2 years ago when we first met with the mayor's staff, and they told us about this program, and we said anything we could do, please include us. And the goal at that point was 1 bridge housing site in each council district, right? Well, as is the case with Mayor Garcetti, his promise is never enough. He always has to go beyond that. And the fact that there are now 26 is a testament to his commitment and his skill at getting things done in Los Angeles. So thank you. To partner with VOA is amazing. We have many other projects. We serve a lot of their shelters. But as the councilman said, St. John serves close to 10,000 homeless patients throughout South and downtown Los Angeles. And now we have a project with VOA and Prop HHH funding, which was also a vision of the mayor, to build a homeless shelter, a homeless transitional housing with a drop-in center, showers, place for pets, very similar to this, on Avalon and 68th, and we'll be the healthcare provider. So it's really key that everyone's all in fighting homelessness, and the fact that we have leadership, political leadership like this, makes the job of St. John's very easy, because we can just pull up with our doctors. Dana's here, our doctor who serves our homeless patients, and we can serve the patients, give them their medicine, and give them everything they need from a healthcare perspective, because we believe that health is a human right, housing is a human right, and we have to band together and fight to tackle this problem as we are today. So thank you very much for including us. Any other bridge housing programs anywhere, count us in. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, as I said before, today is a new day. It's a new day in the new ninth for 100 men and women, and it is just brings me a great deal of pride and pleasure to know that we're doing just a bit to try to solve the problem. Let's do a countdown, Mayor, from 1 to 9. How's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yay!